Good afternoon. Bonjour. Welcome to our session on the shape and place of historical thinking in high schools. I'm Penney Clark, and I'm the chair of this session. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Curriculum and Pedagogy at the University of British Columbia and director of the History Education Network, Histoire et Éducation en Réseau, then hier. It's in this latter capacity that I organized this session and asked these particular people to present. The History Education Network, then hier, is funded by SSHRC, Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada, Strategic Knowledge Mobilization Grant. It's a pan-Canadian network with the goal of enhancing history education in Canada from kindergarten to graduate school. Its aim is to bring together the multiple and varied constituencies already involved in history education: academic historians, public historians in museums, archives, and historic sites, practicing teachers, researchers based in faculties of education, and curriculum policy makers. In bringing these groups together, we hope to stimulate active dialogue with the purpose of encouraging more research-informed practice and more practice-informed research. Now, I don't claim that our network is the beginning point of establishing this dialogue. Certainly, the Association for Canadian Studies has been doing this for almost a decade now in providing fora for these sorts of dialogues. The Great Unsolved Mysteries Project, which has been carried out again for a decade now with Ruth Sandwell from OISE, Peter Gossage from Sherbrooke, and John Lutz from UVic, is really an exemplar of people from different constituencies working together to improve history education in Canada. So those are other examples of this work that has been going on. And there's a pamphlet about then hier in your conference bag if you want to have a look at it at some point. We're also working on an interactive website which we intend to have available by the end of March. And so do keep in touch with us by going there. If you just put the History Education website in, you'll be able to get to our website. And we intend to have databases, interactive fora, blogs, and podcasts there. And that's why we're actually filming this session today. It'll be the beginning of some content that we're going to have on our website. We have three speakers: Jerry Friesen from the History Department at the University of Manitoba, Mark Perry from Hampton High School, New Brunswick, and Peter Seixas, Faculty of Education, the University of BC. Luc Lapine, who's a curriculum consultant with the Lester B. Pearson School Board in Montreal, wasn't able to be with us through no fault of his own. The session was switched from Saturday to Friday, and he had commitments with his school board and then couldn't make it at that time. So he sends his regrets, and we're certainly sorry he couldn't be here. So our speakers represent three of the constituencies involved with history education: academic historians, researchers and teachers in faculties of education, and teachers in school settings. So each of these will address the question, what is the shape and place of history thinking in high school classrooms from that perspective? So our first speaker will be Peter Seixas, who is a professor and Canada Research Chair in Education at UBC and director of the Centre for the Study of Historical Consciousness. He's also a fellow of the Royal Society of Canada with a PhD in history from UCLA and 12 years of experience teaching high school social studies. His career spans schools and the academy. He's editor of Theorizing Historical Consciousness, U of T Press 2004, and co-editor with Peter Stearns and Sam Weinberg of Knowing, Teaching, and Learning History, National and International Perspectives, New York University Press 2000. And he's currently directing the Pan-Canadian History Education Reform Project, Benchmarks of Historical Thinking, which he'll be discussing today. Our second speaker in the middle is Mark Perry, who's been teaching secondary school history for 23 years and is presently teaching at Hampton High School, New Brunswick. He also teaches social studies education courses at the University of New Brunswick. He has worked on several history and citizenship education projects, including his favorites, the Spirit of Democracy Project with Andy Hughes and Alan Sears at UNB, the Benchmarks in Historical Thinking Project with Peter and Carla Peck, and the Historica Wilfrid Laurier Canadian Battlefields Foundation Tour with Terry Kopp and Blake Seward. Jerry Friesen is a distinguished professor in history at the University of Manitoba. He's the author of several books, including The Canadian Prairies, A History, U of T Press, 1984, The West, Regional Ambitions, National Debates, Global Age, Penguin, 1999, and Citizens and Nation, U of T, 2000. He's been the president of the Canadian Historical Association and has been long involved in school history, curriculum, and teaching, having served as a member of the board of the Manitoba Social Science Teachers Association and a member of the Grade 11 Curriculum Committee for Canadian History in Manitoba. So we'll start with Peter.